All those apples have fallen because of drought. We're not allowed to do anything about it. We can't water them. We don't water anything out the back because it's just an impossible task. So we got storms forecast for tonight, which is why I showed you the sky. Um, you have to be close, don't you? Get into my what is it? I can't remember what they're called now. Anyway, my family have been here since Monday last, not this Monday just gone, but the Monday before, and they left this morning. They've left their gîte this morning. They've had the best weather for them. I think it actually might have been a bit too hot for Phil, but Becky loves the heat. They had the best weather. It was stinking hot, way too hot for me. And the hardest bit, I think, was that because they were here, we were doing stuff, going out, going up there, meeting up with them, going out for a meal, all the things that normally in that heat we wouldn't do. We'd just close the doors and stay indoors and keep out of the heat. So that's been hard. I'm really tired. Um, I'm we had a meal out Saturday night, all of us with Jo, my daughter, and her boyfriend, who we'd not met before, who's lovely. Fingers crossed. He seems very kind, very gentle. The little bit I saw of him, because there were 8 of us out, so there wasn't much chance. And then on Sunday Phil did a barbecue, but I said that I would do some food for the barbecue, and I spent all of Sunday morning cooking. So by the time we got to the barbecue in the afternoon, I was absolutely knackered, absolutely knackered. And there were 8 of us again, plus 4, because he'd invited the hosts who came with a son and girlfriend. So that was quite overwhelming to have people there that I didn't know. Not a chance to speak to Joe's boyfriend, really. And I just sat it out, really. I felt like I was just like, trying to hang on as long as possible before coming home. Went to bed Sunday night. I'd only had 5 hours sleep the night before for some reason. So went to bed Sunday night at about 10:15. I said, that's it, I'm going. And I went to bed and I just slept and slept. Didn't wake at all until about 6:30 for the loo, and then went to the loo and then went back to bed and slept some more. So I felt much better yesterday because I'd slept. Today's Wednesday, so I don't know what days I'm talking about. But yesterday, Tuesday, I felt better. We went up again yesterday afternoon because they were, like, for our last visit with them before they left. I didn't go in the pool yesterday because when it's been hot, it's been fine getting out of the pool soaking wet and just sitting and drying off in the heat. But the thought of getting out of a pool cold in wet clothes, because I was wearing clothes, and I struggle to get dressed when I'm in dry clothes, but the struggle to get in and out of wet clothes it's really hard. So it was quite cool yesterday. So actually being in the pool would have been nice, but as soon as you came out, would have been quite cold. So I didn't. So we just sat and had a nice 2 or 3 hours there, just chatting and around the pool a bit, and then indoors we had cake. We've eaten such a lot of crap. So my intention is that we get back on track over this weekend and in the next week, but then we're off again. When I say we're off again, we're off. So this has been a training exercise for being having something going on and being stimulated every day, talking to people every day, which I don't do. I had increased my steroids however many times week ago. It was before they came, and they've been here 9 days, so probably 3 weeks ago I increased my steroids, and I did feel better. By the time they came I was feeling better, but I knew that I couldn't stay at that amount, so I started to drop down, and I've dropped down from 14 to 12 in the last 3 days, and I'm pretty sure I can feel it. I had a blood test yesterday that suggested my C-reactive protein is back to its normal which is my inflammatory marker. Um, so that's good. But I'm on 3 milligrams more than I'm meant to be on in order to keep it, to get it there. So I've got my rheumatology appointment tomorrow. I really hope that that goes well. I realised that last time one of the reasons that I had a problem is that she wears a mask, and I need to lip read, and I'm going to have to ask her tomorrow if I wore a mask, just respectfully, because she, you know, they're in a city, and I don't know, I think she's ultra careful, but I wore a mask last time, so I will say to her, I'll wear a mask, but will you take yours off so I can read your lips? Because that's half my problem, is that I can't read her lips. So I've written my note to her, telling her what's been going on and telling her what I want. Hopefully this time I'll come away with a plan for when we come back from the UK to start on biologics and try and improve things. Fingers crossed. So my family are on their way up. They're in around Rouen at the moment, and I'll be pleased when I know they're home. Don't like them being on the road. Don't like. Thea did an amazing painting, and she's taken. We made them take it because they're moving house later on this year, and I said, you know, it's a piece of artwork for her wall in her room. I'll see if I can find a picture of it that hasn't, or try and include it on here with her face mask, because I don't think I should share it with her face in it. But it was an amazing painting. Mark helped her a little bit in terms of, because I started, and I called him through, and I said, look, you're a better artist than I am. Come and help sort the paint colours out. I can't get the right colour on the palette. So he came through, and they sat. Only took a half an hour. They sat for half an hour, and he helped her, you know, get the right colours. And I don't think much of it. He didn't do it. The painting. He might have done a little bit, but it's all her, and it is very good. She also had written, I might be repeating myself now, she'd written a story. She's writing a diary that nobody's allowed to look in, but she allowed Phil to read it, the thing to us that she wrote when they were in Rouen on their way down, and it's just very clever. It's I can't explain it, but it's really well written, and really entertaining, and holds you. And it's only, I don't know, 4 or 5 paragraphs, but it's very, very good for an 8-year-old going on 16. So I don't know. You know, I'm obviously I'm her grandmother and I'm proud of her, but she's, yeah, did really well. Fell in love with jazz. Um, Spent a lot of time when she was here with Jazz, sitting with her, stroking her. Jazz loved it, of course, lapped it up. My only concern is that when they come back, they come about every other year. My concern is that when they come back in 2 years' time, we might not have Jazz. I don't know, but if that leg problem is anything, if there's anything sinister going on that is still to present itself, then, you know, we might not have Jazz. So that's going to be devastating. But luckily, they plan, I think, next year to get a puppy. So that might help alleviate any despair, I suppose, from her. They went and looked at the bats again. Their mother-in-law was here, Becky's mom, who loved seeing the bats. What else? Yeah, I mean, I just couldn't vlog because I was just so tired. In between visits, I was tired. Phil fitted. Mark had wanted, when we bought the new car a couple of years ago now. Mark had wanted mud flaps for the back, but apparently for the type of car we have, for the model that we have, they don't do mud flaps for the back, and he wanted them. So he's got mud flaps on the front but not on the back, and they don't look like mud flaps. You know, they're not mud flaps nowadays, are they? I don't know what they're for really, because they're not very flappy. So Phil had found some on eBay that would fit, so he ordered them and bought them with him, and then yesterday, Monday, they came down in the morning and stayed here for a few hours, and we had lunch and whatever. And Phil fitted the mud flaps at the back. Didn't take him long because he knows what he's doing. Um, Much more able to get up and down off the floor. Um, just yeah. And I said to Mark, because Mark would have been able to do it, but it's such an effort for him to get up and down, up and down. So Phil was just up and down round doing it, no problem. And then there was a tarp that had pulled away from the back of the logs. So there's quite a lot of the log pile exposed. And I said to Phil, I don't know whether I said when you're here or had when he was here, and said to him sometime whilst you're around. So he got up on top of the log pile, wandering around, very nimble, worrying me up there. Don't break my logs. Um, Sorting it out, pulling it along, pulled it over, sorted that out, and then did a bit of a jump flip down, very athletic. I think Becky was impressed. His athletic prowess was quite funny, really. She said, I don't see you do that normally. But I mean, he says he does it a lot when he's in the quarry filming, when he's doing some of his filming for his YouTube. But yeah. So yeah, Ludo did the coop. Phil was going to do the coop. I'm so pleased Ludo did the coop because it's been so stinking hot. I would have felt really bad sending Phil down to do that. So yeah, jobs that we had wanted done have been done. We're having just a day of nothing, which is lovely. And then Vicky was here yesterday. She's left a couple of notes because I've got the whiteboards on the fridge. And I write a thing on there, if I wanted to do something, I'm going to change our bed, do the windows or whatever. And she left a note yesterday because we weren't here when she left, and she left a note saying what she'd done and that she's coming next week. So she's coming next week, later in the week, before our house sitters arrive. So it's a bit closer to our house sitters arriving. But she said, your room was such a mess, it was worse than Tilly's. So I went in, put the Hoover over, and then walked out and closed the door. Oh my God, what have we done? We're in trouble with Mum. It is messy. We had, because it's been so hot. I've got loads of clothes over my chair, where I think, oh, what am I going to wear? We've got duvets that we're not using that are folded up and put somewhere. And our duvet, we're just using duvet covers. And I think Mark's drawers on his wardrobe, which are always overflowing, was probably open, and my clean washing was on top of the. But anyway, it was a mess in there. Apparently, I haven't apologised yet, but I will. So she was here yesterday when we went out. So yeah, today is a day of nothingness, and then tomorrow, my rheumatology appointment's quite late in the afternoon actually. So we haven't got to get up, which is nice. But I am struggling now with my eyes. I always have a shock, and I had the same shock this time, and it's, even though I see myself on here a lot, because I have to watch this back to make sure I didn't pick my nose whilst I was filming, or I hadn't got something hanging off my face. I always have a shock, and what I see is this part, which I'm used to seeing. We always have a group photo when they're here. Mark sets up his camera and sets it on timer, and then comes rushing across and gets into the group, and we have a group photo. So we had a group photo, and it's just such a shock when I see myself, because that's not the body image I have in my head. And I know we all have a body image. We all have a body image in our head, and often I'm sure it doesn't match how you really look. The only time I am faced with my body is when I go to Jen's, the hairdresser, because she's got a big mirror, and she always turns the chair away from me, because I say to her, I don't want to sit looking in the mirror. So she's always facing the chair away from the mirror for me. But my body is short and round and fat. My legs are much bigger than I think they are. Even my calves are bigger than I think they are. And I just look like my maternal grandmother. Exactly the same shape as her. Now, I should be happy with the fact it's genetic. Some of it's genetic. I know it's not all genetic, but some of it is my genetic body shape. but it's just like, oh God. And I just, it's horrible, you know, because you're faced with reality that some, quite often you manage to avoid for quite a lot. And you know, when we've been doing low carb, we've been off piste since they came. Unfortunately, not all of the time, because some of the time I can eat food that works, but a lot of the time we've been off piste, and I've increased my steroids, so I'm really not feeling that great anyway. I'm not feeling that I'm slimming or losing weight or whatever, but I just think we've been low carb for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I look like that. It's shocking. Ugh. Other than that, it's been lovely. So anyway, that's what's been going on. That's where we're at. I'm hoping that we did have. When did we? I recorded it, didn't we? The storm that we had. That was. I can't remember whether that was whilst they were here. Yeah, I think we had it and they didn't. So that was whilst they were here. I think it was on their second or third day. So that's the only rain we've had, which is now a week ago. So I hope that with the weather tonight, that we do get storm and rain. They're threatening hail, so we will unplug and take the umbrellas down, but unplug the internet, unplug the telly. Even though we've got them on surge protectors, I just think unplug them. So that's what we'll do tonight. And as for those apples aren't ready to be eaten, the ones left on the tree. But there's a lot on the floor. That's really sad. But they're not edible. You know, if I pick them up off the floor, they're still bitter. Not bitter, but a bit sour. They're not going to be sweet enough to eat. I might try one, but I can tell by the colour of them because they should have a colour and they haven't. And I'm sure the Bramleys down the end there are probably ready for somebody to come and pick, but I might put them on the free site. But the trouble is I'd have to go down and have a look, and I haven't been down. I've not been well enough to go down. I might go down in a minute to see if they're ready. I'll do that now. You stay there. There's a few on there. I'll use these tomorrow to make apple sauce because I'm doing pork. But the rest I'll put on the free site. Oh, that's so annoying that it's so exhausting just to walk down there. I did feel well enough last night to walk down to the chickens with Mark, but at the moment, no, that's made me really breathless. Anyway, thanks for watching. It's good to be back. Thanks for all your comments. I've been seeing your comments, and normality will resume in the next few days. Bye.